what you feel like the sizing would be. Medium is always a good go-to, unless you have a very large person, and then a large is probably going to be what you would pick. You have a little frail woman, then small. So, but medium is a good go-to. But it does have the little sizing in it.
And that's just a pull out and hook together with the tubing.
Yep, all you do is pull it out, connect this to the tubing here that was closest to the exhalation port. And it fits right on there. The straps, that's the fun part, trying to get the straps on there very well. And not too tight, but tighter than you would think. If there's a lot of air coming out and your BiPap's alarming, you can, one, adjust your straps and see if that helps, or two, kind of decrease your pressure a little bit. And that's usually will help the issue. But I can't tell you that it ever completely hushes.
Do you see how much pressure you're actually getting on the screen when it's hooked up?
You do, yes, you will see the tidal volume and everything on there. So what you're telling the BiPap to do is at the bottom. When it's connected to the patient, what they're doing is at the very top. It'll have their tidal volume, their respiratory rate, their minute ventilation, everything will be on there.
If the patient's admitted, can they, when the EMS comes, they can use that tubing to their own machines?
They don't carry BiPap, they have CPAP only. But they can bring the tubing with them, but typically they don't.
Pop quiz. Where's the supplies kept for this machine?
On the machine.
We also have backup in that cabinet, the top cabinet in
Above
the,
ultrasounds? Above the ultrasounds or where?
yes, in the wooden cabinet in the machine. So I know that we have circuits for the CPAP on the circuit piece. We keep that on the PACU cart. There's a place where those are replaced. Vent circuit, I'll have to look.
And there was question if you keep pediatric circuits for it.
We don't, and I'm wondering if we should just have one to ward off people's spirits.
I can bring one to you.
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
We honestly don't use them a whole lot, so they do expire pretty quickly. But yeah, let me see if I have some that's not expired, and I'll bring them to you.
And you know, the honest truth is, a lot of times, if they haven't taken them off the bypass in the OR, they'll use the anesthesia machine. They'll keep them, even the adults that they have, with the newer machines that we've gotten over here over the last few years, which is what makes it so difficult with these things. You know, you don't see it, but the first time you do see it, you need to be able to, which comes to, I will tell you that Lisa and Brenda and them, there are, and try it today if you will, there are QR codes on both of these that bring up the, so you don't have to go and look for policies, but if you put your phone on these, it will bring up the steps ABC. The CPAP machine, we have these up here. The, you know, anesthesiologist will give parameter orders, and you fit mask to patient, use a template, connect your oxygen, plug into, I mean, it gets pretty detailed, even turn on white switch on the back of the machine. But I would still, just like the ventilator, lay your hands on it, because it's good to do that. And then they also have the sheet that talks about the modes, the ST mode, the CPAP mode. She even put a picture on it. I don't know what we're gonna do when we get new stuff without Lisa, but we're just not gonna let Brenda retire, right? So same thing on the ventilator. If you do the QR code, which I would recommend you doing, then definitely try that and see what brings it up. I think a lot of times people, even anesthesia, forgets that we have BiPap here. And I did have a question.
Okay.
If somebody is on CPAP, they use CPAP at home, and we can hook up CPAP. We can hook up the patient CPAP in PACU. And if they need to go on to BiPap, will the settings from the CPAP, will they translate? They don't usually translate
No,
over.
if they're just on a CPAP, then you're going to have to set up BiPap settings, and you cannot use their mask that they have on their unit either, because most of the time they'll have the nasal pillows or the little nasal mask. It is not interchangeable, so they have to use the full face mask, and they're going to hate it.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately.
And they're only gonna get, are they only gonna get that inspiratory pressure however often that rate is set for, is that right or no?
No, they are going to be breathing spontaneously, so they're going to get it every time they breathe.
So this machine's smart enough to know every breath they take?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because with this
Yeah.
one, we're really just worried about peak pressure.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that's
Yeah.
primary, would be the primary use for the BiPap would be to add peak to
Positive
their
pressure.
positive pressure.
Yeah.
Which, with our kids, we're using the Jackson Reese to give that positive pressure in
Okay.
those emergency situations, so.
I'll bring you a pediatric circuit, and I would like for you to be using bacteria filters between the circuit and the machine. For one, to protect your patient, and two, to protect the machine.
Right.
Okay?
So is that something haven't had in the past?
Well, I remember when we first set these